Next, we transition into a panel discussion focusing on innovation in wealth tech. So this is the topic of the discussion, and for this, I'd like to invite our moderator for this panel, Mr. Satyam Kumar is the moderator with over 19 years of banking expertise. He's leading business liabilities and relationship initiatives at LoanTap, driving innovation and social impact while shaping the trajectory of WealthTech. Put your hands together for the moderator of this panel, Mr. Satyam Kumar. And we'll have those chairs up in a moment. Mr. Satyam, you can come on the stage. Thank you so much for making it today. And of course, we have our panel members as well for this panel discussion. First and foremost, I'd like to invite Mr. Ismail Tekin. He's the managing director at Lambert & Co. and has 15 plus years of management experience specializing in international relationships, business developments, and growth markets. So Mr. Ismail Tekin, thank you so much once again for making it today. Third, I'd like to invite Mr. Odera Nonyelu Ume, founder of Elbow, champions tokenized real-world assets and self-sovereign future through innovative blockchain solutions. Mr. Odera Nonyelu Ume. There you are, sir. I didn't take your surname today. Difficult to pronounce. Anyway, next up is Mr. Gimran Abdrakhmanov. I thought I was done with difficult names. Mr. Gimran Abdrakhmanov. I got it right this time around, I think. Yeah, so Mr. Gimran is advising at Freedom Broker and leading Gimran & Co. catalyzed business growth, blending expertise in investments, fintech, and insurance since 2009. Last but not the least, on this panel, we have Mr. Phillip Lord. Mr. Phillip Lord leads Oobit, a top crypto tap payment app enabling tap and pay at 100+ million retailers worldwide. As a co-founder of Pimlico Partners, he leveraged 25 years of finance expertise guiding Web3 firms through market fluctuations. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our panel, and it's over to our moderator for this panel, Mr. Satyam Kumar, to take it over. I'm going to hand over the mics to you now.
I've been running a large consumer-centric lending platform, and we have been blending it up by introducing one product at a time. So while we did a lending for a long period of time, for almost 7 years now, but we have been introducing other products like bond and other on the platform. So we'll be talking about AI in this session. We'll be talking largely also about our blockchain, and we'll also be talking about how technology is making things affordable. So one of the biggest jobs which technology does is that it makes stuff affordable for the masses, and in terms of new asset class and all. So I think we have a very solid combination where we will be able to talk about each part of it. And starting with Ismail, I'll request for the introduction.
Thank you, Satyam. Good morning, and good morning to my fellow panelists. I've been in Dubai now 13 years, predominantly focused on social entrepreneurship, startups, originally from London. Had the opportunity last year to join UN initiative and also an ambassador for the BRICS Forum now as well. We were in Marrakesh for the World Bank event, and then we were in Moscow, which was a beautiful experience for a BRICS Forum. And we're carrying these initiatives now through in terms of representing the UAE and startups and fintechs and predominantly companies across the board, basically, in an advisory position as well. So thank you very much for having me.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So Odera here. I'm the founder of Elbow. Elbow is a real-world asset tokenization platform. We tokenize assets like private credit, equity, real estate, T-bills, etc. We make those available on the blockchain for investors who are looking for that type of exposure. And we separately have a different vehicle through which we invest into and acquire startups and micro PE opportunities. So yeah, that's us.
Hello everyone, my name is Gimran, originally from Astana, Kazakhstan, and I am doing advising on investment at Freedom Brokerage. It's a traditional brokerage firm, and in 2020s I was doing a crypto brokerage firm. We also help fintech and crypto businesses to be regulated and licensed, and that's pretty much all I would say. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Phillip from Uobit. We are Apple Pay for crypto, so you basically download the app and you put some crypto on your wallet and then you spend it any Visa, MasterCard around the world. At the moment it's open for European Android users, it'll be iOS shortly, and then a global rollout. Basically my thesis, I'm an investor in the company, I'm now president, but basically my thesis was I wanted to make, using crypto a lot easier. It had to be a lot simpler, and there's a lot of POS systems out there, but basically Visa, MasterCard, you have to run through them. I've been investing in crypto for 6-7 years. On Uobit, we just got funded from Tether for $25 million, so now we're going for an aggressive rollout. I'm based here in Dubai. Super happy, excited to be on this panel.
Thank you very much, Philip. So talking about, as we see blockchain and crypto, so most of the time today we'll be spending about beyond crypto as an investment class and as an application as far as the blockchain itself is concerned. So starting back with Philip itself, we would want to also understand where the use cases which we are seeing of a blockchain in wealth management, as we see large part of the wealth management stuff now moving from an ultra high net worth individuals also to a mass affluent. Particularly we have seen in large economies like India and all during the pandemic, one particular platform started opening from 100,000 monthly demat accounts for stock trading to almost 100,000 so about in Indian we talk about 10 lakhs, so it was 100,000 in terms of 10,000. So it moved 10 times almost. So we saw a very new segment, particularly high tax paying individuals from a salaried as well as from the individual proprietorship concerns coming on the digital investment platforms, and that's where we started seeing the impact of both the tokenization and AI playing out. So while we'll keep on talking about, we'll keep on flirting between AI and blockchain during the conversation. But going back to Philip, would want to understand also where are the deeper application which we have seen of a blockchain in wealth management at the back end. The application part of beyond cryptocurrency, where we have seen in WealthTech for blockchain.
Sure. I mean, I think like Tether has about 100 million users or wallet holders now. We need to make that simpler, right? It needs to go to 500. We're in a bull market. This needs to be really simple for people, and then that will help increase that wealth tech investment. Obviously you're in India. I'm a massive bias towards India. I think a huge opportunity. I think what you're doing and what others are doing, we're taking inefficient parts of the capital structure and tokenizing them. Whether it's credit on B2B companies or investments into funds, like Andreessen Horowitz. All of these asset classes should be tokenized and be available to whether you're a mother in a village in Nigeria or you're an investor in New York City. You should be able to just have a global access point. At the moment, it's the funds. A lot of these debt products are for the rich people or funds. They get access to it. What blockchain does is basically make it a global platform. So I'm a massive believer that we're going to see in this next, cycle of the next 2 years. We need to make things easier, which is what we're doing with Uber. We're allowing people to spend it and bringing on a lot of new users. I think gaming's going to bring a lot of new users on. But then once they're in the system, what are they going to invest in? And they need, high quality products that are safe. It doesn't all need to be a meme coin bet. We need high quality, credit rating product, but accessible to everyone.
Thank you very much, Philip. Very helpful. So coming back, Gimran, you have been part of a broking institution back in Kazakhstan, so you have seen both the traditional side of the business as well as the new way of doing the business in the same community of the investors. So how do you see the technology overall playing out, and specifically if you can give some colors around the applications related to the Gen AI, or a blockchain, that will be helpful for all of us.
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. Yes, in the crypto brokerage firm, we had a lot of clients who was interested in AI managed, like algorithm managed funds. So that was interesting, but you know, algorithms, they are not so consistent. They always do better results in 1 month, 2 months, and after 3 or 4 months, they can be stuck or they can be liquidated at the crypto exchanges. So that's the main issue was when I was working in a crypto brokerage firm, and it's have to be solved with the clients, because your client should be ready for these higher risks. When their capital can be like liquidated like in a moment, so that's kind of tough when you speak with client. You have to explain more about this opportunity, and then the risk also, and the risk tolerance of the client should be higher than the average clients have. So that's kind of interesting when you talk to clients and they know the risks, but anyway they pulling the money, and after when you see that the market is going down, also the results of the algorithms, they also go down. So you also cannot like handle sometimes with the clients. So they like asking what's going on. You said that bot's very good. So it's always tough to speak with clients this way. So, but anyway, the best strategy in blockchain, I would say, it's HODL, because you're not risking, you're not trading every time. You're sleeping well, because you know the main difference between crypto market and the traditional financial market is that crypto market doesn't sleep. It's working 24 hours and 365 days a year. And as you may know, traditional market is, yes, you have a closing time, opening time, that's very good. And you know, combining this experience, I have to say that you can be more efficient when you invest in crypto-related traditional assets. We have public companies which are very involved with the crypto. It's Marathon Digital. They are doing digital mining in US. And when Bitcoin is going up in Sunday or in a Saturday, I would say, you have time to be prepared that this grows in a Monday in traditional market. That's very huge opportunity I see in the market right now. And that's interesting how you can manage these risks and how you can manage your portfolio smartly.
Thank you very much. So Odera, coming back from, I mean, you have been both investing in the startups and also, you know, managing the whole stuff from hands-on. So how do you see the application part of the technology playing out in the wealth space, and you know, how is it touching consumers, or is it bringing a new asset classes for the investors? Just because, you know, a blockchain is available for exploitation, or the technology is available for exploitation. So so what are the applications that you are seeing in your part of the world?
Sure. So we've been looking at the blockchain space for over a decade and how things have been evolving. You know, and as a lot of us will know, there's been a massive ongoing trend of democratization. So making assets that were previously inaccessible and really only made available to high net worths and ultra high net worths making those available through the first wave of fintechs. We've seen platforms like Nutmeg and several other US-based platforms who've done a great job of given investment exposure to retail or accredited investors. And that trend has continued as the blockchain has developed and matured and applications have been built on top. So we see today the latest iteration of that trend is what we now term real-world assets. So looking across decentralized finance and real-world assets, it's now the case that you're able to buy exposure to debt or to other investment opportunities, real estate, commercial real estate, private single-family real estate, and earn the yield and the type of returns that you would typically not have had exposure to as an individual. And that trend is global, right? So it's not even about our local market. That trend, because of the global nature of the blockchain, means anyone with a wallet can actually now log on and buy a piece of a property in the USA or buy a loan made to a vendor in Singapore, and it doesn't matter anymore. That's where we see, that's one of the trends we see going into wealth tech today, and I think that's going to continue.
Great. So now, while we are seeing the overall economic order globally is shifting both at a country level economy as well as which of course has an impact on how the middle class is migrating from a middle class to higher net worth individual to or within middle class itself, from a lower middle class to upper middle class, and each of these communities, by being exposed to an internet and also availability of the information in terms of the newer asset class and all, they are also seeing they're also always on the fence, trying to invest or trying to pick up some opportunities. So from that point of view, Ismail, I would like to understand how are we seeing this newer these platforms, these initiatives really helping out, not so wealthy, or it's not like for ultra high net worth individuals who always have an access to a relationship manager, or bank walks up to them and tries to resolve for each of their aspects. So how the technology is doing it in a lowest possible cost in some of these economies. So we'll be happy to learn on that.
Thank you, Satyam. I think predominantly it comes down to the ecosystems that we operate in, and also how accessible the technological solutions are around us, and how that is spilled to the end user ultimately. I mean, I can talk about living in the Middle East and in the UAE predominantly. We're very fortunate here. We have such an active startup ecosystem. A whole array of projects, technology, solutions. Phillip was mentioning how they got funded recently, and ultimately that's another success story for the end user, because it creates a solution that is accessible and has that adaptability and adoptability. And then we have great relationships with markets like India, the rest of the Middle East, Africa. We're seeing now some real technologies really being spilled to the general public, and I think this is that link between the solutions or the products that are available and the bridges that we create to connect to the end users. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot more fluidity and a lot more transparency coming through. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I think one of the great things about trusting people with money is the word trust itself. I mean, as Ismail is mentioning, the technology is helping people to build the trust in the system, and maybe on an incremental level, small investment, then going on a incremental investment side. Now, coming back on the same piece, the idea will also be to explore a bit about the liquidity. I mean, the whole, because one of the, besides trust, one of the key aspects of wealth management is also people typically want to see in different categories, sometimes long-term assets, sometimes liquid asset class and all. Is it really helping out on the liquidity front, Ismail?
Thank you. Look, I think liquidity comes down to, it's a confidence play as well. So depending on what's available to us to invest in, and not all of us have the opportunity to spread our investments across different asset classes. But I think the more we are aware and the more we're exposed to like-minded people, opportunities and products that are available, that confidence then enables liquidity. And again, living in this part of the world, we see that there's a huge amount of liquidity that's held in sovereign wealth funds. And the challenge has always been allowing that capital to access the projects that ultimately need that funding. And recently we had an event with PwC in their accelerator, and it was interesting. One of my friends was there from Masdar City. He's the head of Abu Dhabi Sustainability. And he openly said to the floor, one of the challenges they're having is that there's a lack of adaptability in the startup or the ecosystem for technologies to come through. So if at a higher level, we're understanding that the flow of liquidity from up to down is lacking, and we're trying to create solutions to allow that liquidity to flow, I think over time, there'll be a lot more fluidity in how much liquidity comes into the market, and then that benefits the wider ecosystem. That's what we're seeing directly. Thank you.
Amazing. So, average people, the lower income people being able to buy some of the assets which was traditionally kept only for extremely high net worth individuals, whether it's art pieces or whether it's wine casks or whether it's even a large real estate properties. So also at that point of time, I would want to understand how each of the governments, the regulators, are helping in their regions or in their capacity to both sanitize the ecosystem, build a trust, because a huge role is also at the regulator level to building a trust in a particular technology cycle as it adopts, it starts engaging with the mass in general. So starting from Gimran, if you can give us some idea how the government in your part of the world is really treating it in terms of building confidence in the system.
Yeah, sure. We have in Astana, Kazakhstan, we have a special regulation regime for crypto and the fintech companies. It's called AFSA, AIFC, Astana International Financial Center. It's kind of copy-pasted regime as we have in the AFC. Maybe you may know about it. So it's English common law, arbitration center, independent court, and all of these kind of activities. Also, we have a sandbox for fintechs where you can test your idea easily. It's cheap, I would say, because you can test your idea regarding and have a lot of waivers. Wherever it is, or exchange, or it's a crypto brokerage, or it's a crypto payments solution you have. So that's kind of interesting how businesses right now are growing very fast. You don't have any limitation to work worldwide. Only blacklisted countries, you cannot onboard the citizens of the blacklisted countries, and you can work wherever you want. So with the UK citizens, you can onboard and do KYC and all of this. And we have a lot of, I would say, regulations that doesn't exist in Central Asia and in the world itself. So I would suggest to see this opportunity, to look at this opportunity, because it's a growing market, and if you have a blockchain and you don't have regulations for it, you can find out maybe it can be regulated in other ecosystems. Yeah, thanks.
Amazing. So, Phillip, you have been like a hands-on on building the platforms and a tech, and so which is typically like a creative mind wants a full space. So, where do you see the regulations? How it has evolved over a period of time, and how do you see it shaping up, or where you see it's limiting?
In Dubai or in the region?
I mean, most of the stuffs are basically training from American ecosystem, so I think that will be a good thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, the SEC has the right to sort of regulate the world. You know, we've all been waiting all year for the ETFs, and now it's a bull market. But, so it is good, they've done it. Yeah, but there's a lot of local regulation going on here, which is the reason why we've got Binance, Bybit, all the major exchanges here. So I think this place is, you know, on fire. You know, I strongly recommend if you're not set up here, set up here. You know, you can hire amazing staff from any passport holder around the world with a, you know, example, a PhD, you know, whereas it's hard to do that in the West. It's hard to hire that high-quality programmer, you know, from Iran or India or wherever if you're in the US, and the same with Europe. So I think this place is a massive advantage. We're very progressive, and they're setting, tough competition for the US. You know, they're attracting a lot of businesses here. So, but you know, we still have to default back to the US. I think, yeah, KYC, AML, we love going to America, so our business, we fully background check, and we want to abide by every rule. And I think that's something with crypto. A lot of them don't want to do that, you know, but that's changing. If we want to take this user base from 100 mil to 500 mil, that has to be in a regulated environment, you know. So I think, yeah, set up in Dubai. I think Lisbon has some progressive policy. Portugal, Singapore. I've lived there before. It's there. It makes a lot of noise, but I think it's actually hard to hire good quality staff. The immigration, when you're a startup, you need to hire a lot of new staff, and you need quick immigration. Singapore's hard. Hong Kong is very China focused, so you have the big brother. They're making good noise. I think it's a very big boys town, so it's fintech orientated business. Korea's tough. Japan seems to be making good noise, but so I put this place as the center of the world. I didn't even include London in it, actually. It's embarrassing. I'm not too bullish on the London ecosystem for crypto. I think France has done a very good job. It kills me to say it in case there's any French in the room, but they've definitely kicked the Brits. So yeah, I think we're looking at the #1 place for setting up.
Great, thank you. So what we'll do now is that we'll ask, you can't get a better panel than this, so the best thing to ask while talking about the money is that where are they going to bet their money with? So the last question to each of the panelists will be, spend 1 minute on where are they seeing the next money spinner coming in? If they have to invest today, what will the new business within their portfolio or outside where they're on a segment where they're betting on? Starting with Ismail.
I call this the wow moment, words of wisdom, as we say. I can be biased right now and speak a little bit about our own businesses, but again, living here, I'd predominantly say the tech space is really active, and then some of the more, I guess, riskier markets or alternative markets. Or unconventional, let's say. So I always say try and have some diversity across the board. Like we live our lives with common sense, or we try to live our lives with common sense. I think it's the same for our investments, to have a bit of diversity. Investing a little bit in Bitcoin at the moment probably wouldn't do you any harm if this trajectory continues, and I think my peers on the panel would probably agree with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this nugget. Yes, Odera.
So I'm going to talk about a specific thesis that I like, that I've been looking into as well. So we've all seen across the blockchain space, various narratives over the years. It starts off with the Bitcoin narrative, then we moved to the decentralized application narrative with Ethereum. We saw the NFT narrative come and go, and that's not going to go away. What never changes, however, are fundamentals. Businesses that are actually generating revenue and profits. It's not about the latest trend. It's not about the latest spike or hype. So I would honestly say, look, there are some real advantages that you can gain by being exposed on the blockchain. Projects with tokens give you liquidity opportunities that you don't typically have in traditional equity markets, which means you have more entry and exit opportunities, which makes it a bit less risky from that perspective. So if you can combine those two things, businesses that give you the liquidity opportunity that actually have real revenues and profits, I think that's an interesting thesis to lean into. And if you filter according to that, there are some interesting opportunities to invest.
Yeah, Gimran, what will be your advice?
Yeah, of course. Bitcoin also, yeah, as you may know, the halving is coming in April. So Bitcoin, I expect the price of Bitcoin would be more than $100,000 next year or this decade, this year. And also a lot of other digital assets we have to invest to, I mean, look at too. So that's Ethereum, as you said, Solana and other projects. So the main thing is we should consider the economic cycles. Every time we invest, we should consider it. Right now, it's a bull run, so we're witnessing the bull run starting right now this year. And next year, I expect to have BTC having a new ATH, I mean, all-time high. So it's good time to invest, but don't forget about economic cycles. Don't forget about the volatility at the market. So that's kind of... also, I would say that we also need to consider bonds and conservative instruments, where you can just save your money, not only be an aggressive investor, be also smart and conservative. Yeah.
So, Philip, it's very difficult to visualize anyone else building a great business if you are so passionate about your own business. But if you have to take a bet on some other segment,
I got two investments and one thesis. So my first investment is obviously Bitcoin, because we're very biased here. It was at, there's 21 million, but there's 34 trillion of debt in the US, ever expanding. So I'm going to hold up a $10 billion note from Zimbabwe. Money can devalue, right? And I carry that around because people always go, I don't understand Bitcoin, That's a pretty good reason to understand Bitcoin. There's 34 trillion of debt and it's only expanding. So, Bitcoin is limited. The second one is probably the greatest trade ever, right, for the year, because we've already had it with Bitcoin. ETF is coming on Ethereum. Right, it's going to come in May. It's the Bitcoin ETF is a crazy amount of volume. If you think the exchanges aren't going to pressure the SEC to do the Ethereum ETF, it's happening, right? So you got to invest in Ethereum. And then, the third one is more of a thesis. You have to look at the team that you're investing in. An amazing team, and they need to be missionary. They need to be on their mission to build a crazy business where they're solving a great problem, and nothing's getting in their way. They can't be distracted. They also need to be a bit mercenary as well. They need to have that Elon Musk, be able to sell, because these businesses need funding, they need growth. So they've got to be able to sell and raise money, but you need them to stay focused on the prize, which is building that business and solving the problem.
Thank you very much. I think so. Taking the leaf from both Philip and Ismail's blessing, my own 2 cents will be that anything which is building out of WealthTech, solving a large problem. Whether it's on a supply chain side, whether it's on a crypto side, whether it's on a generic decentralized ledger side, wherever you get an opportunity. And the second is that if you feel it's a good team. So I still want to say that betting on a business, betting on a people is something which we very strongly recommend. And besides the investment class itself, but betting on a great team is nothing beats it.
Mr. Satyam, just a reminder, this is the last minute remaining, so please summarize and take questions if you want.
We are done, so I think we'll be opening up for the questions.
All right, anyone has any questions, I can bring the mic to you and you can ask the questions to one of the panel members directly.
I got one. I'm going to ask, who spends crypto here? Because I just want to ask. Anybody spend crypto? Yeah, that tells you how big my market is, right? Still, we need this system to be a lot more simpler, So if you want to bring another 500 or 400 million users into the market, and then when they come in, then they can invest in great wealth products like yours.
I have another question. Who here has ever used decentralized finance? That's also a bit interesting. Okay, lots of market penetration yet to do.
any other surveys you want to do.
Yeah, that was a great to
You
get
can-
your
you can
surveys
go ahead
done.
and do it.
Always be shilling.
Any questions, anything to any of the panelists?
Any questions, anyone? Well, I think,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Mr. Satyam, and the rest of the panel as well.